Hello, my brothers and sisters. Brother Billy. Brother Billy want to show Candace Owens' response to Miss Erika Kirk. Erika Kirk sat down with Harris Faulkner and they were talking about the conspiracy theories being spread by the masses. And in particular, the person that's at the forefront of spreading the conspiracies about Charlie Kirk's assassination would be none other than Miss Candace Owens, who happened to have the number one podcast in the world, and she has a whole lot of ears listening to some of the things that she is saying. And of course, a lot of us they calling we crazy and brainwashed and nut jobs for listening to Candace. Well, let's let Candace respond to Miss Erika Kirk in her own words, and I'll put my 2 cents in every now and then, now and again. Let's start it here.
Look, I have been very patient. I do tend to focus on the evidence that's in front of us. Obviously, asking questions when we come up across something that someone has said and it doesn't add up, or if they lied, create a list. And you guys were coming after me because I was saying, look, we can write into our imaginations how Erika is thinking or how she's feeling or what she should be wearing, but she hasn't actually said anything yet, right? That was my stance. She hasn't actually said anything yet. Give her a chance, okay? And
Now let me say something real quick. Is that regardless of how you feel about Candace, some people love her, some people hate her. But regardless of how you feel, especially if you're a Christian, because all of my videos, whether they're political, whether they're biblical, they're always going to be coming from my relationship with Jesus and from His Word. And so, regardless of how you feel about Candace Owens, be honest. As a Christian, we have to be honest. I got to be honest about Erika Kirk. I mean, I can give my opinions and tell you I'm stating an opinion about something, but if I'm gonna state a fact, be honest. Now, one thing we can say, based on what she just said, she has definitely held back talking about or saying anything negative, anything about Erika Kirk. She has been very reserved about speaking about Erika Kirk. Now, me myself, I wanted her to go. I wanted her to go in at her. I wanted her to be a little bit more. I really did. But she didn't do that until now. Now, the gloves they off, and Miss Candace is about to, you know, give her her opinion on this interview with Miss Erika Kirk and Harris Faulkner.
now she is making the rounds in the press because Charlie's book, his posthumous book, is coming out about the Sabbath. And she's speaking about the quote unquote conspiracies as she sits down with a lot of these news anchors. So, first and foremost, she's sitting down here with Harris Faulkner. And I just want to show you a couple of clips from this sit down, which is now trending. And she begins by addressing the question, which has been in the air, regarding where Charlie Kirk is buried. That question resurfaced this week in a big way because Milo Yiannopoulos and a few others have asserted with absolute certainty that Charlie has not yet been buried. That's what they're saying. They say they have proof of that. And at first, Harris Faulkner is asking about that claim. Take a listen.
Talk to me about this part of the conspiracies that are out there, this disturbing part that people are trying to guess where Charlie is.
Can I have one thing? Can I have one thing? Can my children have one thing? Everything was public. We will be building the most beautiful memorial for my husband at Turning Point USA, and it will be for the world to see, and it will be spectacular, and it will have basically museum style for our Charlie, for my Charlie. But can I have one thing? Can my babies have one thing where we hold it sacred, where my husband is laid to rest, where I don't have to be worried about some secular revolutionary coming and destroying my husband's grave while my daughter is sitting there praying? One thing, that this is my husband. Yes, he was Charlie Kirk to the world, and I know so many people love my husband, and I am grateful for that, but this is my husband, and I want to be able to have one thing left that is sacred to our family, to my in-laws, to my babies, and to my parents. One thing.
Now, before before Candace comes back up, um, you notice how she emphasized, "This is my husband. This is my husband." Now, I'm just giving my opinion on this. I'm just speculating. These are not facts. This is not fact based. This is just my opinion, and I have a right to give my opinion, even if my opinion is wrong. I still have a right to give it. My opinion, my belief on her emphasizing this is my husband. This is my husband. Because they had a little, going around about Candace being, you know, jealous of Erika Kirk because she wanted to marry uh Charlie, and Charlie married Erika. And so that was one of the things people had going around. Well, I mean, that's people's opinion, just like this is my opinion about why she's saying that. But I tend to believe that's why she is emphasizing this my husband, my husband. I think it's like a I think it's like an under, like a backhand jab, a backhand, yeah. That's what I think she's doing. It's my opinion.
Okay, so on its face, I actually agree with that. I think that when people are being buried and where they're being buried and how their funerals are done, that is very private matter. Okay, so objectively, I agree with what she's saying. Okay, but subjectively, because we are dealing with the subject of Erika Kirk and what transpired immediately following Charlie's assassination, this is going to be read as Meghan Markle syndrome, okay? Meghan Markle syndrome, where you want privacy when you want it, but you want publicity whenever you want it. And that just doesn't work, okay? It doesn't work that way. I honestly think it was said best by Bethany Frankel, not related to this situation. Bethany Frankel is on Real Housewives, a show, a reality show. And she was referring to one of the housewives who lived her life very publicly, showcased her marriage, was buying tons of Louis Vuitton bags, and they had tons of money. And then when their relationship soured, the housewife basically asked the public for privacy. And Bethany was like, no, this isn't how it works. Like, we were riding with you on the way up. We're riding with you on the way out. You don't get to like pick and choose when you want privacy and when you don't want privacy. And subjectively, as it, in the matter of Erika Kirk, this is the same person who had somebody record her over Charlie Kirk's casket. That was not our business, truly. And I can say that decision was made by her. And there is, some credence to the claim that everybody grieves differently. I wouldn't even record myself over a casket ever, okay? Some people maybe perhaps want to have that memory. But the decision to publish that, you crying over your husband's casket, and to publish his dead body on Instagram was a decision that was made by Erika. And we can watch that.
Now, y'all have to, if you're gonna be objective and not just be a Candace hater and hating everything Candace stands for, every opinion she has, every question she has, and agree with everything Erika says, then you're never gonna get the truth. But if you're gonna be objective, you would have to say that, that was kind of distasteful to. That was weird. That was weird of her recording Charlie, her over Charlie weeping and I love you, and why do we have to hear that? Why do we have to hear you say you love your husband? Do you really? If you really, why do you have to do that? But let's watch the video. That was weird.
Take a look.
I love you. I love you. I love you. I know. I love you. I love you. God bless you.
Why?
That is an incredibly personal and an incredibly intimate moment, that you invited the public into.
Mhm.
Okay, there was no reason to do that outside of wanting to share something that was very private with the public. And now you fast forward 3 months removed, and it's why does the public want to know where he's buried? It doesn't work like that. You have to make a decision. I want this always to be private, or I want this always to be
Mhm.
public. That's my personal feedback there. Later on in this same interview, she launches into a strong defense of Turning Point USA employees.
Now, what's wrong with? Remember, Christians. We're Christians. We're Christians. We're Bible believing Christians. And so, as a Bible believing Christian, what was wrong with what Candace just said? Separate your feelings from what she just said. What was wrong with that? Erika made that public to all of us. We didn't ask for that. We didn't know when she was going to see her husband, what time. We didn't know none of that. We didn't know how Charlie was dressed in the casket. We didn't know Erika had them 2 big rings on with G and stuff. Conspiracy. But she made that public. Now, when people want to know where Charlie's buried at, now she want privacy. I mean, they got that saying, you can't have your cake and eat it too, Miss Erika. If you want privacy, why didn't you keep that private? No. I'm with Candace on that point.
Employees who have, just as a matter of fact, told many lies, many inconsistencies. These are verifiable.
Mm-hmm.
So they are currently lying to the public, or they have lied to the public, but she is going to deliver quite an impassioned defense regarding these particular individuals and the organization as a whole. And I want you to hear her passion. Take a listen.
What are they taking from you right now?
Nothing. But I will tell you what they are doing. It reminds me so much of chapter 6 in the book of Nehemiah. He is building a wall. The hounds are at the base of that hill saying, Nehemiah, calling him all these names, saying all these things, come on down. Every single time he had the same message 4 times in a row. I cannot come down. I am busy building. That is how I feel. I do not have time to address the noise. My silence does not mean that I am complacent. Mm-hmm. My silence does not mean that somehow Turning Point USA and all of the handpicked staff that loved my husband and my husband loved them is somehow in on it. We are busy building. And you know what I thought? I thought these people are human. We are all grieving in our own way. And they are trying to find the answer to something that happened that was so evil. They're trying so hard. I get that. We're doing the same. Anytime we hear a lead or anytime we hear anything, we send it to the authorities. Please dig into this. No rock will be unturned. I want justice for my husband, for myself, for my family, more than anyone else out there. So for me, you want to keep telling me to come down while we're building? I don't have time for that.
No rock will be unturned. That's what she says. Well, see, my problem is Turning Point has been speaking and saying things of that nature that even the FBI, they're looking into all these, they're following all these. They look, no stone will be unturned, and all this, and all this, these things. But there's a whole bunch of allegations that have come out that they have a lot of validity behind them. For example, the Egyptian plane, Miss Erica, since no stone is going to be unturned, unturned, could you address the Egyptian plane? What do you know about the Egyptian plane that was following you? Who Candace thought was following Charlie, but it was following you. Tucker Carlson verified that the Egyptian plane following you was true, was accurate. Are you going to address that? The finances that Charlie Kirk was concerned about with the Dole style audit. Are you going to, make sure you implement that Dole style audit so we can see what's going on with the finances in Turning Point? Because you're the CEO now. Transparency, no stone unturned. That's what we want to see. I mean, it's a whole lot of things we want to see. But can you just start right there to hold up Charlie's legacy? So Candace, let's hear Candace respond to this.
But here's my breaking point on that.
Uh-oh.
Come after me, call me names, I don't care. Call me what you want, go down that rabbit hole, whatever. But when you go after my family, my Turning Point USA family, my Charlie Kirk Show family, when you go after the people that I love, and you're making hundreds and thousands of dollars every single episode going after the people that I love because somehow they're in on this, no.
Uh-oh.
I'm sorry, but that whole thing right there is frustrating. And I'm going to explain to you why I just do not accept any of that. First and foremost, the idea that she does not have time. Okay, she definitely has time, okay? She's done Hannity, she's done The Five, she's done Fox and Friends, she's done Outnumbered, she's done Megyn Kelly Live, she sat down with the New York Times. She made time, by the way, in case you don't remember, to fly to DC for Sergio Gore to be sworn into the ambassador to India, as the ambassador to India, which feels kind of obscure and not necessarily related to Turning Point USA affairs, building affairs, or whatever it is. But sure, that's fine. I mean, obviously, you're also allowed to be a person if that's the homie and that's what you want to do, sure. But we are indeed speaking about a coast-to-coast flight to stand up next to somebody and basically say, Charlie loved you. That was like the whatever 15-second speech that she gave, right? Here's actually, we have a clip of that speech that she gave.
Well, he was also very good friends with a guy named Charlie. We just knew him as Charlie, and his wife, who we love so much, is here with us. And maybe you know how close they were together. Maybe Erika, you could say a couple of words, please.
I'm honored to, sir. Charlie loved you. It's hard not to get emotional because I know that he would have been the first phone call when he found out that you were going to be taking this position. And the way that I was able to witness the two of you work together for years and to champion and support the president was absolutely humbling to witness. And I am so proud of you. And Charlie is going to be with you every single day in spirit. And I will be praying for you every day because I know that this is just the beginning of an incredible opportunity for you. And sir, thank you for allowing Sergio to have this beautiful moment.
Thank you very much. Thank you, John.
That's just an ambassador to India swearing in ceremony. Again, if that's your friend, you want to be there, that makes sense. She's also a person, and she can decide what she wants to do there. But the point that I'm making is that's a coastal flight that she made to be there to watch a paper get signed. She has also made time for an upcoming CBS News town hall sit down with Barry Weiss, which was filmed today. So Erika Kirk has time.
Yeah. I mean, she says she Nehemiah. That right? She said, she pulled that Bible verse out, Nehemiah, the man on the wall, the greatest builder of them all. He's the one who withstood the enemy. No doubt God gave him the victory. Yeah, Nehemiah. I'm doing a great work for the Lord, and I can't come down. But she's doing a whole bunch of, things that ain't got nothing to do with Turning Point per se, building Turning Point. That's my point. And that's Candace's point. So because she acting like, she ain't coming down off the wall, but it don't appear that she on it that much.
she has time. It is just what she means to say, not her priority, which is you are allowed to prioritize things in your own life. But this is not a matter of time to the majority, actually. The majority of people think of this as BS. The majority of people think Turning Point is acting suspicious. And
I do.
she does not feel that it is what she wants to do as a matter of priority, responding. Okay, that's fine. Now, two people are making hundreds, thousands of dollars. I just don't get how there's not someone on this very large PR team, as we're seeing these PR campaigns go out, but doesn't go, hey, maybe we should strike that. They made $40 million like 2 nights ago at Mar-a-Lago. Maybe that feels kind of a little bit like let them eat cake-ish. Oh, and we've made more than, separately from Mar-a-Lago, Turning Point USA, since Charlie was killed, just so you guys know, this is a fact, has made more than $100 million. That is separate from the $40 million they made at Mar-a-Lago the other night. So since Charlie has died, that organization has taken in $140 million. But gosh darn you people that are making hundreds of dollars every day on YouTube talking about Charlie Kirk's assassination and the BS narrative that is being fed and the very obvious psychological operation that is being employed to make you accept the BS that they are trying to sell to us.
I mean, okay. So now, based on what Candace is saying, why would you have a problem with Candace Owens? Again, we're Christians, beloved. We're Christians. Why would you have a problem with Candace Owens making whatever she makes for her podcast? I have no idea. I mean, I know she probably make pretty good, but she ain't making $40 million in 2 days. That's what y'all just made at Mar-a-Lago. 40 million and 100 million since Charlie Kirk passed. So to me, the audacity and you made it off of Charlie Kirk. That's like the money was made off of Charlie Kirk. That's why people give into Turning Point USA. They give in because of Charlie Kirk. That's the number one reason they giving. They ain't giving because of Erika. They ain't giving because of Tyler Boiler. They ain't giving because of none of Mikey. They ain't giving because of none of these people. They giving because of Charlie Kirk. So Charlie's dead, and y'all made $140 million since his death. Some of that was made selling T-shirts of what he was wearing when he got assassinated at the memorial. Y'all made that. And so to fix your mouth to say Candace is making all this money and whoever else making money off of talking about Charlie Kirk, that seems a little hypocritical. That seems a lot hypocritical to be doing that. That's very hypocritical. And I agree with Candace 100%. That should have been striked. Because that's very, very hypocritical.
Gosh darn you. Did you make $1,000 today? Speaking about Charlie Kirk, well, you should be ashamed of yourself, says Turning Point USA, who in large part made that money because of those very people who gave to the organization immediately following Charlie Kirk's assassination.
Exactly.
And the thing that is especially absurd about that is trying to almost like, I want to be clear that Turning Point USA is my family. The Charlie Kirk show is my family. She's just expanding the wings of people that we're not allowed to critique because they're in the family. If you call them fam, you can't, right? Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, you're showing Rob McQuaid defending, trying to launder the reputation of that's the CK show fam. Oh, I'm sorry. We are actually pointing to the fact that we know for certain that this person in your organization is sexual deviant. That's fam. That's my, don't you get me upset. I know that this is a now $150 million in the last 3-month organization, and we employ tons of people, but you can't critique. You can't critique the fam. And I hate to say this, but I'm going to be very clear here. This is why there are many people who do not believe that women are equipped to lead companies, because what you are watching here is an unbelievably emotional response that is absent of any logic. Okay.
I second the motion. I second that motion because she is leading from an emotional state. Now, whether she's being genuine, leading from that emotional state, I'll let God be the judge of that. Or whether she's doing it in order to manipulate the audience, the people, to kind of feel, a certain way. The way they started the interview off with the conspiracy theorists, and she's a grieving widow, you know, that kind of to get you all, oh, a grieving widow, oh, conspiracy theories, just to get you in your emotions to be able to, agree with what comes after they set you up. So I agree with Candace. She is not going to make a very good leader, um, leading from her emotions, especially if she's trying to use that to manipulate her audience. Now, I ain't going to say she is. I ain't going to say she isn't. I don't know yet. I just don't trust her using the language that they're using in order to try to um, get the audience to be in agreement with them or with her, and to reject Candace just asking questions.
If you really care about your team, answer the questions.
Yep.
Okay. Just demystify
See,
the
answer
entire event. Answer the questions so people don't think Turning Point USA looks so suspicious. Don't try to mom the organization and say, well, mother's upset because people are coming after her kids and all of this multi-million-dollar subsidiaries. That's my children. Okay. The multi-million-dollar subsidiaries, Turning Point, like Turning Point Action, all that, those are my kids. So you can't critique them. Not a good idea.
I agree.
Okay, it may work in PR world. You guys, I know how it's an obvious PR campaign. It's never been more obvious of a psychological operation. I actually wish they would put me on payroll so I could help them make these things look more organic than having every single person that has been telling us to stop asking questions all make the exact same video within 4 seconds of each other, being like, whoa, Erika Kirk shuts down no, she didn't even respond to one of the conspiracies. She gave us emotion.
Now, I know y'all that hate Candace, y'all gonna be like, what question? Remember, if you're a Christian, God gonna hold us responsible for being dishonest. I don't care who it's relating to. As a Christian, you're gonna be held accountable for being dishonest. You're gonna be held accountable for showing partiality. Yeah. Now, what question? Them lies, those verified lies that TPSUs said that Candace has verified. I got him up there. The amazing, heroic Mikey McCoy. Charlie was committed to evangelicals who only like Catholicism architect. Charlie's next stop at 30-6. Charlie never blinked in his support for Israel. The magnificent Mikey McCoy. Tao moved to the SD card because people were stealing hats. Ben Shapiro and Charlie Kirk never had any bad blood. Charlie established Doge was not unusual. Mikey McCoy was a hero that day. Those are some of the verified TPUSA lies that have not been answered directly without, spinning and going around a mountain. So which one of these lies Erika Kirk have directly answered? And don't forget about that Egyptian plane that they said was following her. Has she addressed that? The Egyptian plane? Have she addressed why the Doge style audit is not going on, which we knew Charlie wanted because he sent the memo out about 8 days before he died? From my understanding, it's been terminated. It's been they ain't going through with it. Why? So all I'm saying is, I mean, hey, she gonna have to answer questions. She can't use this mommy position. You don't talk about my kids. These are my kids. These are my children. You can't talk about. No, you're a CEO. You're not. This ain't no mommy role. This is a CEO role. And you can't just say don't talk about my kids because people got allegations about some of the things that your kids and probably you are doing.
She gave us emotion. She said, I'm a mother, I am a wife, and we never asked about whether she was a mother or wife. We want to know if she is a CEO and a chairman. And a CEO and a chairman has to compromise. A CEO and a chairman cannot respond to valid questions and critiques about finances, about shady actions that are being taken by people that require presidential pardons, people that are meaningfully asking why we are not getting a clear answer of what took place on September 10th. A CEO, okay, does not get to respond and say, that's my family.
Right.
Okay. That's the energy of what I would expect from a mother speaking to a teacher, which I was this mom, like that's my kid. Okay. And I'll shut this down right now. That's my child. This is not a child. Turning Point USA is an organization. And Erika already had an uphill battle to climb, like that she had to climb this because, by the way, just because if this was Goldman Sachs and the president of Goldman Sachs or managing director over at Goldman Sachs died in a horrifically violent way, the Goldman Sachs family might mourn for a couple of months, but they would have instantly had someone to replace that individual. And beyond that, they would have never accepted the public and the people that are investing money. They would have never accepted, well, he's gone, but here's his wife. She already had a hill to climb here, right? Like this does not make you qualified because you love someone to take on their job. I am not qualified to do what my husband does. That's why I said I wouldn't want to be the CEO and the chairman of a company. Actually, there's a great clip of Jordan Peterson asking that very question. Like, why do women want to be? Like, why would you want to have? It's actually a lot of work and it's very stressful and it's a lot of numbers and you're crunching numbers and you have to be everywhere. Okay. If you want that, great. If you built the company and you're in the room like Charlie Kirk did, and you have proven to the public, like, hey, I built this company. I didn't even go to college and I've been doing this for over a decade as Charlie Kirk did. You've earned that street cred. Okay. So she already had a hill to climb because now they're saying, well, this is his wife. And so, that's it.
And see, I'm in agreement with Candace's logic. I am definitely in agreement with her logic because Erika Kirk made the decision shortly after her husband was assassinated to accept the role as the CEO of Turning Point. Am I right or wrong? Is that fact or fiction? Don't care about your feelings. Is that a fact or is that fiction? That's a fact. She put herself in that position as the CEO of a $1 million company. So you can't come in there as a grieving wife to hide behind that. And then look at the people who are being criticized as those are your children. You're coming in as a grieving wife and a mama. And that ain't gonna work. And somebody talking about your children, and then so you hiding behind that, and then somebody is critiquing you, and then people, oh, she's a grieving wife. No, she's a CEO who was a grieving wife and accepted the role to take on to be the head of Turning Point. She did that. And so there are things that come along with that. It doesn't matter what you're going to do. If you are grieving, you should have stayed in private and stayed in a place to get healed before you took that position, Miss Erika. You took that position. Now you don't want nobody to say anything about. No, you weren't forced to do that. You took that position of your own, and there's a lot of heat come with being the head of any company. And you're just getting what comes along with being a head of any company. That's all. No more, no less.
Well, now you're gonna have to prove that you have the ability to be a CEO and a chairman, and not just a wife who we expect emotion from. And you have rightful in that capacity. You are rightful to have emotion.
That's right.
You're rightful to be the aggrieved widow, but you don't get to just be widowed into the position of chairman and CEO. You don't get to respond to, well, in this case, investors, donors who have given money and are asking meaningful questions with no, you don't get replies right now because this is the Charlie Kirk show, fam. Doesn't work this way. Which a lot of these mockingbird influencers seem to be making is essentially they're saying to us that scientific inquiry and investigation in and of itself is now patently wrong. Right? Essentially, we should just trust it. Don't believe your own instincts. Don't believe your own eyes. Don't ask any questions. And I really want to stress to you guys how utterly ridiculous that logic is. Right?
I agree.
Because if we followed that logic in any other situation, there would never be a crime solved ever. Okay? If we just ascribe to the idea that scientific investigation is on its face wrong, it would not work. I'll give you a crappy analogy here. Imagine if there's like some presumably in the middle of the night, and her husband is the first one to report it in the morning, and the cops show up who happen to be his buddies. They get there, and then they dramatically close the case in 48 hours. And neighbors are like, wait a minute. Excuse me, officers. Actually, you might want to know some other facts here about this guy. Like, he's in the mafia. These people would be like, how dare you question the people close to, he loved her. That's his wife.
That's what they're doing.
Being a gang member is not evidence. Why are you saying he's a gang member? It's not evidence. You get a nosy neighbor who produced evidence that in the middle of the night before she died, the guy outside, the husband outside, removing cameras in the front yard. That's not evidence.
Something we saw.
Yeah, but I saw him go out in the middle. He put something in his car in the trunk. He was looking shady. That's not evidence. How dare you find that to be suspicious? More neighbors and they were like, hey, we heard them. They were having actually a heated argument before she was found dead. I think it was about money. All of a sudden, the next thing you know, you got Allie Stuckey from the HOA. She blasts out an email and she says, it's unbiblical. It's unbiblical to gossip. Hearing an argument is not hard evidence. You have no right to discuss it. Yeah, we're the nosy neighbors.
And see, and there are some Christians gonna, they'll be like, see, she don't even agree with the Bible. She don't even, and you're being disingenuous and dishonest when you say that. That what she said, she's not disagreeing with the Bible. What she's doing is showing how people use people. If you've been in church just a little while, and you have any type of discernment, and you understand and know the Bible a little bit, people take scripture out of context to promote a ideology, to promote a theology, to promote a doctrine, to promote a belief that when rightly divided, that is not what the Bible is saying. That's all Candace is doing. She ain't saying that the Bible is, we should be able to gossip. That's not what she's saying. She's saying how people use the Bible to get their own expected end from you. In other words, us asking logical questions about what happened. some of the strange things that happened when Charlie Kirk was assassinated. If you ask logical questions about, for example, and I'll get back to Candace, we almost finished. If you ask, well, how is it a 30-06 was able to, how Charlie got shot in the neck and he was able to stop a 30-06 bullet that is traveling about 3,000 miles or something like that, and his neck stopped it? How is that? Is that possible? How is that possible? Oh, you a conspiracy theorist. That they said it was that type of gun, a 30-06, and it stopped, and Charlie got strong bones. He was healthy, and it was a modern day miracle, and he saved lives in his death. That's what they told us. He saved lives in his death. It was a miracle. So when they tell you it was a miracle, they're playing on your religious mindset, your religious disposition, that it was a miracle. Oh yeah, because we all know God works miracles. So that's why that bullet didn't go through Charlie's neck, because it was a miracle. God stopped it. He ate a bunch of salad. He was healthy, and it was a miracle. No, I do believe in miracles. That wasn't no miracle. That wasn't the type of gun that was used that they told us. That's what that was. That's what that was. Now, if you want to believe that it was a 30-06, have at it. I believe in miracles, but that wasn't a miracle. That was a lie they told us.
Okay, we put together a list of 20 verifiable lies that have been told in the weeks following this sudden death event. And yeah, we have some questions. So we're not going to accept Tim Pool jumping on the airwaves with big energy telling us we're evil. We have school boards next Thursday. We're no neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
We don't care about the elections coming up. We want to know whether or not we are in bed with people who are capable of murder, people that are capable of covering up murders. We the nosy a little bit safe in this neighborhood, and whether or not there are some psychopathic killers in our midst. How about
I'm with Candace on that now. I'm with Candace. And let me close with this. Because a lot of people, they find it, even Christians, they find it very offensive for, you hear Candace talking, we just want to know if there's some psychopaths, that people that are able to, have Charlie assassinated, people who are close to him are able to have Charlie assassinated, and they're acting just normal, like nothing ever happened. Because if they are complicit in this, if the evidence and the truth come out that they are complicit in this, remember how they've been acting, and how you've been duped if they're complicit. And so Candace is asking some logical, that's a logical question. Well, how can you imply or implement Erika? I mean, I just think that's pure evil, Brother Billy. I think you're evil to suggest that Erika would have anything to do with her husband's assassination. Now, okay, I am not saying Erika, I have no evidence that Erika has or had anything to do with Charlie Kirk's assassination. I don't. But now, as a Christian, just as a logical, rational thinking person, along with being a Christian, why is that way out there in left field? If it turns out that she did, why is that way out in left field? Let's take it from the natural, and I'm gonna close. Don't you know there are a lot of women and men that have paid hitmans to take out their spouses? Am I right or wrong? I didn't say that's what Erika did. That's not what I said. Listen, I said, is that not a fact that there are many men and women that have paid hitmen to take out their spouse? Yes or no? Yes. The answer is yes. Now, if that is true, and it is, why is that such an impossibility for it to be Erika? Now, let me bring it home with the Christians, and then I'm going to close this out. As a Christian, you find that's just insensitive, Brother Billy. That's just, that's just ungodly. That's just evil for you to, that's slander. I ain't say she did nothing. I'm asking questions. I'm telling you, as a logical thinking person and as a Bible believing Christian, guess what, Christians? Since you find it so hard for Erika Kirk to betray Charlie Kirk, being close to him, being the closest to him, are you familiar with your Bible? Jesus, our beloved Messiah, our God, Emmanuel, manifested in the flesh, sinless, guiltless, didn't do anything wrong, didn't do nobody wrong, never ever. You can't say that about me, can't say that about you, can't say that about Charlie Kirk, and you can't say that about Erika Kirk, and you can't say it about Candace. We can't say that about nobody except Jesus. But guess what? Jesus, one of his close disciples, Judas, one of the 12, walked with him, ate with him, slept with him, performed miracles, healings. He was given power by Jesus to perform miracles. And guess what he did? He betrayed him with a kiss. You remember that? Judas, you betrayed the Son of Man with a kiss. But y'all it's like impossible for Erika to betray Charlie Kirk. Y'all don't see the problem with that? That Erika can't betray Charlie Kirk, but Jesus can be betrayed by his close friends. But no way Erika Kirk is going to betray her husband. You sound crazy. You got too much faith in flesh. Cursed be the man that trusted in man, maketh flesh his arm, whose heart depart from the Lord. Don't you put that much trust in flesh. We don't really even know Erika Kirk like that. I know I don't. I know Charlie a whole lot better than I know Erika. And I'm closing. When the truth comes out about what I discern about Erika Kirk, a lot of y'all going to be absolutely shocked. You're going to be shocked because you ain't walking in the spirit. You walking by how you feel. That's going to throw you off big time when the truth comes out and you find out maybe after all, Candace was right about a whole lot more than what you gave her credit for. Y'all be blessed. See you again the next time.